What's up guys, Triple C here. Welcome to my next tutorial. This is tutorial number 24, and in this tutorial I'll talk to you guys about proper checkpoint placement. This is something that is very, very important, absolutely imperative that you have good checkpoints in your race. Having bad checkpoint placement, it will make or break your race. Like if you have bad checkpoints, people will remember it as a bad race. They go out with a negative feeling and they will not bookmark it and not replay it. And there's a lot of mistakes being made with checkpoint placement. I see it daily when I play custom jobs. You can have the coolest stunt, whatever, if your checkpoints are bad, people will remember it as a bad race. So what I'll do in this tutorial, I'll quickly rebuild some situations and first show the wrong way how I often see it, and then I'll show you the right way how they should be placed. Now, first thing, this is a Rockstar issue. If you're racing in full lobbies, often the first checkpoint doesn't register. It takes some seconds for everything to load in once the race starts, and it happens again and again in big lobbies. Like in this example, for example, here we got the starting grid, here we got the first checkpoint. In a large lobby, this one would not register. The race would start, everybody would be driving through it, and everybody would have to drive back and wait a few seconds for it to start. So because we're limited here with Rockstar and their servers, what you should do in a race, always place your first checkpoint far away from the starting grid. Have your starting grid here, and your first checkpoint should at least be back here. That should be the first checkpoint. Like in small lobbies, it wouldn't matter. As soon as you're over 20 people, you can be sure that the first checkpoint will not register. And this problem got worse and worse with each DLC that was released. They're adding more and more code to the game, and their servers obviously can't handle it. So the next DLC, I expect it to get even worse. Full lobby racing has become next to impossible to do just in a nice flow, cleanly. It's just not possible anymore. So if you're going to build a race, place your first checkpoint far away from the starting grid. This will also limit you sometimes in the area. I have that on a couple of races. I'd like to start it at a certain point. I can't because the first checkpoint will not register. So like I said, place the first checkpoint far away. Now there's also this glitch that you can place two checkpoints or one checkpoint in immediate proximity of the starting grid. I see some people do it. People figured this one out early on PS3 already. It's absolutely pointless. You're just fucking people over with this. Like what you do is you place one checkpoint, and now you can place the starting grid exactly inside that checkpoint. So when the race starts, you'll have the first checkpoint register immediately. This is absolute bullshit. Please don't do this, because this is 100% certain way that the first checkpoint will not register, and everybody will be frustrated immediately when they start the race. So please don't do this. It's absolutely pointless. Okay, we'll take the starting grid, put it here again. Now another thing, people place too many checkpoints. Like you see here, some people would start building their race like this, that they place a checkpoint, another checkpoint, and then they just start spamming the checkpoints, which is just not a good thing. Basically, keep in mind, every checkpoint is a distraction to the track you're driving on, because you always have a visual in your way that's blocking the view of stuff that might be important when you're really racing at high speeds. So keep your checkpoints to a minimum. You don't need 3 checkpoints in a row here. It's absolutely pointless. Just keep them at an absolute minimum. Okay, I'll just keep it like this because this is the wrong way. That's how I want to show it to you guys. So imagine our track would start here. We're going down on the straight, and then we want to take a left turn. Like, this is a very common mistake. I see it every day. People kind of want to show you to go left in the street, and they want to be sure that you don't miss the checkpoint, and they place it here, where I placed it here, inside the street. Now, if you're racing with 20 people at high speeds down this track here, people are not going to see this checkpoint. It just all happens so quick. You have cars in front of you, you have distractions. People will not see the checkpoint. You have to have it in the field of view of the racers. So I'll quickly show you what happens here in this instance when we race it the wrong way around. I'll quickly place down some boosts, because that way I'll just simulate coming in here with a higher speed, like you would in a normal racing situations. Also, we're in stock cars now, so obviously we're not as quick as if we're in custom cars and online. Wait, now I quickly gotta place it on GTA mode. Okay, we'll run a quick test. Like, and this is also a thing, now we know this checkpoint is there. The creator will know this. And keep in mind that people that have never raced your race before, look, we're going high speed, you missed the checkpoint, it's on the left there. Like, you as a creator will know that it's there, so you will know how to take the turn, but anybody coming in there at high speed will not see the checkpoint. Okay, so now we should go left here and hit this checkpoint. But anyways, how to avoid all this confusion. What you should do in this instance, I'll show you the correct way how to place the checkpoints. We'll take all these checkpoints away again. This one goes, this one goes, this one goes. So we got the starting grid here. Like I said, first checkpoint should be far away from the starting grid, so the game has time to load everything in and it will register. If you want to make a left turn here, you have to place it on the street so people can see it. Place it right here. That way people will see it. And another thing, if I place it here, my movement, this only defines the respawn direction of the cars. If I place it, no matter if I place it this way around or the other way around, that arrow in the checkpoint, it will always point towards the next checkpoint. So the placement of your next checkpoint is actually important. If you're driving down the straight and you want the checkpoint to face in the left direction, your next checkpoint needs to be left of it. So we'll just do it right here. We'll place the next checkpoint over here. Now we ensured that this checkpoint will be facing left. Like even, wait, I'll place it this way around. Like I said, this only defines the respawn direction. So even though we're placing this checkpoint this way around, it will be pointing to the left, exactly to the next checkpoint. We'll do a quick test of it. You see, it's pointing to the left. It's very obvious where to go. And I had a good line here going through that turn. Separates good racers from average racers. You always want to take your car to the maximum, have the maximum speed going through a turn. So the optimal racing line in this instant would be to take this turn wide. Good racers will be on the right side of the road and they'll take this turn wide. They'll try to cut the corner a bit at this point here and take the widest line possible, going around this way, coming out here. And if you have your checkpoint in the middle of the road, anybody will make the checkpoint register. Also, people who are not really aware of racing lines and just kind of brake in front of every turn and take a left, everybody will hit this checkpoint. If you have it kind of center in front of the turn, it's in front of the turn, so there's enough time for everybody to see it. And no matter what racing line you take, you will hit this checkpoint. So this would be the optimal checkpoint placement to take this left turn here. Just have it kind of in the middle of the road, so it doesn't matter if people are coming from here or if like pro racers would be taking a wide racing line to get the maximum out of this corner. Everybody will hit this checkpoint and it will be pointing in the right direction. There's no confusion. So yeah, that's first thing. Second thing, what I see a lot is people try to prepare you for a turn. And I actually asked a lot of people that place checkpoints like this. This is true. People really try to prepare you for a turn. It has the exact opposite effect. People will mess up the turn. So what people do, they place 2 checkpoints at a turn. They kind of want to prepare you that you're supposed to go left. Now what happens, and this is what they do, they place 1 checkpoint in front of the turn and 1 checkpoint going in the street. And like I told you guys before, the arrow of the checkpoint is only defined by where the location of the next checkpoint is. So by checkpoint number 2 here, not being exactly left of this one, as you see this line between the checkpoints goes diagonally up, checkpoint number 1 here will not really be facing left. It'll be really tough to see if you're in a racing situation. If you're coming at absolute high speeds, it's not clear that this one will be facing sharp left. So don't do this. You don't need to prepare people for a turn. You just need 1 checkpoint with a clear indication. That's it. So I'll quickly run a test, show you guys how this one will not be pointing exactly left. Okay, here. And again, this is, we as the creator, we know it now, so it won't seem as obvious, but people who have never raced this before, like this points a bit to the left, where am I supposed to go? And I missed the checkpoint. You see? This second one just appears so suddenly. And in this situation even, it does point a bit to the left. There are a lot of situations where I see people try to prepare you for a turn where it almost doesn't face left at all. So absolute crap, don't do it. Please just place one checkpoint that has a very clear indication where to go. Now, third very common mistake, what I see again and again, like I said in the beginning, too many checkpoints. People place checkpoint after checkpoint. The whole track is just cluttered with checkpoints, and that in turn will make people miss their turn. So I'm obviously exaggerating, even though there are some tracks out here which really are like this. Some people don't have it as bad as this, but nevertheless, it's something you're going to see again and again, and if you build, please be aware of this. If you have a checkpoint, another checkpoint, another checkpoint, now here the creator wants you to turn left into the street. Next checkpoint will be here again. Next checkpoint will be here again. Now what this in effect does, now as you see, from this checkpoint to this checkpoint, we got a pretty clear left indication. The checkpoint on the left is pretty much left of this checkpoint, so it will be facing to the left side. The only thing is that because all of these checkpoints, like this one will be facing straight to the next one. This one will also be facing straight to the next one, and so on. They will all be facing straight. Checkpoint number 5 will be facing straight to this one, and all of a sudden you got one facing left. And that will just happen so quick. People don't have time to register this because it just happens so quick. I'll show you guys how it would be in a racing situation. And I see this again and again, you know, I miss turns, all the good races, they miss turns, straight, 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 left, already missed the turn. Because it just happens so quick, you do not have time to register this, or even see it in time. So, this road and of the route to go, and this is absolute deadly. If you have something like this, whenever you have a turn, you don't want to have a checkpoint directly in front of it, because this checkpoint will be facing straight, the next checkpoint will be facing left, and you don't see this in time. There's actually only one instance where this makes very much sense, and this is also a common mistake where I see people not doing it. I'll quickly show you guys an example of where you would want to place two checkpoints directly behind each other. Now imagine if you're building a stunt race, for example, and you got a massive stunt coming up here. Wait, I got a template here. Wait, we'll just quickly place it down some way. Wait, wait. Okay, I'm just obviously not paying attention to what I'm exactly doing here. Place this down. Okay, now look at this. If this would be your stunt, for example, and cars would be coming up from this side here, then obviously you would probably have a checkpoint at the exit of the stunt where people have to fly through. So we'll just emulate this or simulate this. Of course, I wasn't really paying. Just imagine your stunt, the spiral thing that I just built here. Just imagine it would be ending here, and people would fly out and are supposed to go through the air, hit an aerial checkpoint, and continue on the street. So what people, of course, do, because you can't have the checkpoint directly in front of the stunt, people need to run up to the stunt. So you would have a checkpoint probably about here. So if people fail the stunt, they respawn, they have a run up to the stunt again, and then your next checkpoint would be aerial for people to exit the stunt and land on that street and just continue the track over there. So now what's effectively going to happen, because checkpoint 1 will be facing to the next checkpoint, which is over here. So when people run up to this, when they come up to this checkpoint will be facing right, and this will confuse everybody. Everybody will think to go right here. I quickly show what happens. Okay, real quick. Now checkpoint faces to the right. Wait, there's a stunt there. Do I have to go right? You know, people just... in this instance, you see the spiral even. But there are many instances where you wouldn't even see the stunt and people would just take the wrong turn. Wait, I'll do a quick test again. Like, what would happen in a racing situation here? Most people would probably go right. So if you're not really aware of the stunt, you see the checkpoint, you go right, and then you're looking for the checkpoint. Where is it? Where is it? So what you would do in this instance, to avoid people from going right, like some people also put props here. That is good to block the road off, so people know, okay, obviously I'm not supposed to go here. There's probably something coming up there. But what is much easier, how you can solve this problem, in this instance, you would place a second checkpoint. Wait, I need this yellow line to appear here. Yeah, okay. Now we got checkpoint number 2. Now in this instance, you would place 2 checkpoints directly behind each other. Because what we're actually doing is we're cloaking the checkpoint that will be facing to the right. Because of the other thing, what I just told you, these checkpoints register so quick that people will not really be aware of the second checkpoint, what direction it really faces, because it all happens so quick. Now when people run up to the stunt, they will see an arrow that is facing straight forward where you want people to go, because this checkpoint will be facing to this checkpoint over here. And this one, which is facing to the right, it happens so quick people don't even register what is happening. So we'll quickly run a test. You see, this one's facing right. It's absolutely clear where to go. The second one, it just happened so quick. Wait, we'll quickly exit the test here. So yeah, and there's also some stunts. Now I'm stuck in the barge. By the way, when that happens, when you're stuck in props, just go on prop number. Cycle one to the right or left, and you'll be out again. Also with wall rides, sometimes, you know, like there's instances where people would build a wall ride. Quickly delete the checkpoints again, show you what I mean. I have to go on top-down view, otherwise it won't disappear. Okay. Now imagine this wouldn't be a spiral, but this would be a wall ride that starts here, takes you on a turn, and the exit of the wall ride is somewhere here, taking you over this thing, and you got an aerial checkpoint here. So in that situation, you would have people running up to the wall ride, and they're going to exit somewhere here, hitting an aerial checkpoint. We'll just imagine this one is aerial, exiting a wall ride. Look how your checkpoint is going to be messed up if you just have one in front of the stunt. Like this one points back and we're like, what? Do I have to take a hairpin? Where am I supposed to go? So yeah, again, same thing. How you're going to solve that problem. Place 2 checkpoints directly behind each other. That way, people coming up with high speeds will always only see the first checkpoint, which faces in the direction you want it to face. Yeah, wait. So we'll jump into the next thing. Corner cutting. Wait, we'll quickly delete our checkpoints. Oh, now I gotta place it on the starting grid again, but it doesn't matter. Like in GP races, often the creators don't want you to cut corners. In stunt races, it's often very common to cut corners. But it doesn't matter, you know, whatever your preference is, the techniques are basically always the same. You want to not have a lot of checkpoints, you want to have as little checkpoints as possible, and you want to have your checkpoints that uh, the best racing line will have absolutely no trouble with it, but in the optimal sense, you would also want to have people taking a different line still being able to get through it good. So if we would want to take a left turn here, for example, don't place it directly on the corner. Don't place it where you think people might drive. Place it spacious that everybody, no matter what line they're taking, is going to be able to take it. So if we want to take a left here, in a stunt race, it would probably be a setup that people are allowed to cut over here. In a GP race, people would probably block this off. Either way, if you place a checkpoint here and there's one to the left, this is also something I'll quickly touch on this subject here. Also, your next checkpoint, make sure it's far away again, because people will be taking different lines through this turn. The optimal racing line again in this instance would be to cut this a bit, and people will be coming wide out and be somewhere here, just even curb boost a bit here. So if you're going to place the next checkpoint in here and place it here, all the people with the quick racing lines will miss this one. I'll quickly show what happens. Okay, so that one's pointing to the left. Now I'm taking a good racing line here, cutting the curb. Okay, now I did hit it, but you see what I mean. If it's too far to the inside or also too close to another checkpoint, you never know what's really going to happen. So there's absolutely no need in having a checkpoint this close. So just place the next one. I got props in the way here now, but just place the next one back there, for example. Wait, I'll quickly run you through a setup of some checkpoints that would have a good placement, for example, just to make an example here. Now, like I said, first checkpoint should be far away. If you're on a straight, you don't need a checkpoint at every junction. The other one pointed straight already. You don't need to have one at every junction. So we'll just take a left here. I'll place that in front of the corner so everybody can get it. Then we're going to be going down the street. Now I want to take a right into here, into this street. Don't place it somewhere here, because it will be hard to see. Like if you place it here and you want people to go right, everybody will register it no matter what line they take, but not everybody will see it because it is kind of hidden in the street. So you want to have it totally in the field of view of racers coming up. So place it here. That way, people that are going to try to take it, to kind of cut the line a bit, which will not work in this instance, they'll still register it. If you take a wide racing line, you'll definitely go through it. So we're going to take a right here. Then we're going to be going on a straight. And all this, I don't need any checkpoints here. They're just going to be in the way. They're really going to be clogging up the view. Now this, for example, it's hard to see in the creator, but there's a downhill section here. So if you place the next checkpoint, if you want to go right, if you place it here, this one will be invisible to players because you're actually higher up on this road. Wait, I'll zoom down a bit, maybe we can see it. As you see, there's a slope here. So people coming from up there at absolutely high speeds will not see this checkpoint that you placed down here. And in the last second, once they go down the slope, they will know if they have to turn right or left here. So this checkpoint, for example, I would place it up here where the road is still high. And that way people will see which way to go. Like obviously I want people to go right here. I'll quickly show it again. I'm going to turn my checkpoint to the left. This only defines the respawn direction. And now if I want this one to point to the right, it's only has something to do with the next checkpoint where this is. So the next checkpoint I will place, I'd say we want to go people to go right in here again. So again, I place this in the middle of the road in front of the turn. So everybody will make this one register. So next one, people are going inside this road. The turn is kept wide again. People with a good racing line will be cutting the curb here, coming from this corner and cutting in to this side, taking a right here. And then let's say that we are quickly gonna, wait, we'll just pick Shoot, now I got all those props in the way here. But yeah, we'll just take a left on this one again. No, we're not. Wait, I'll quickly delete those props. These are dynormals, by the way. Normal props turn dynamic, which was only possible after the Ill-Gotten Gains update when they broke everything in the creator. Like they have a very good track record of. Now people love this plaza square here also because it's just so great for cutting corners. It's got these open wide streets. And this is something else I'm going to touch on. If you, by the way, big props to you if you're still watching this. I know people don't have a lot of patience and tend to not watch full tutorials but just skip through them. But so yeah, big props if you're still watching this actually. Okay, so now we're coming from back there, going down straight. We don't need a lot of checkpoints here. If we're going to place a lot of checkpoints here, you're actually messing with people because people will want to curb boost. They will want to go up the curb to get that small boost. So leave all these checkpoints out there. You don't need them. Also this one. We're on a straight. We don't need checkpoints. It's all going straight down the road. And now we want people to take a left here. So we'll place it in the center of the road in front of the turn. Give them some space in front of the turn. This way again, everybody will register this checkpoint. People can cut this corner here, take a wide line. And now the next one again, we want people to go right here, so we'll place it there, and then we'll just complete the race. So I'll quickly run a test of this and comment on it a bit, like why. And if you see the track, wait, how long is the track? Placement, checkpoints. Look, the track is 1.64 miles already. We only have 6 checkpoints. If you look on the mini-map, we're actually really covering some distance here. We're going pretty far away, but we only need 6 checkpoints, and it's very clear where to go. Everybody will know which turn to take, and nobody will confuse. You won't be messing with anybody's lines. That's what I meant with be minimalist, because you don't need a lot. These are the best races with the not many checkpoints, but every checkpoint totally clear. So we're gonna okay, first we had a left turn coming up here. Now I'm taking this one wide. And I didn't cut it, but it doesn't matter. You see how I'm going wide here? Now I'm lining up for the next turn, getting on the outside. Then I'm cutting over the curb here. Always taking my turns as wide as possible. Now you see with the what I meant. We have this one pointing right, we see it in time. So now we're taking right, going down here, and we crashed, but obviously these are also stock cars. Now we're cutting over this curb here, taking it wide, taking the curb boost. Now we have a long straight, so we can basically always touch down on the curb a bit, getting that small boost. We can totally cut over the curb over here. And now again, we can cut this one, take it wide, line up for the next checkpoint. Yeah, pretty slippery, bad driving, but yeah, you get the idea. Look what a long race. Okay, now we completed 1 lap. If it would have been a point-to-point, that would have been the finish line. Oh yeah, this leads me to one last point, hairpins. If you have a hairpin, which means like a 180-degree turn, for example, I see a lot of people that try to build a setup with 3 checkpoints. You don't need them. Just 1 checkpoint will be enough, and 1 checkpoint will be clear. So imagine you're coming down the straight and you want people to do a hairpin here. We'll quickly place some kind of prop here. Also a hairpin, if you're gonna make it obvious with props, don't take a very high prop which will block the view. Take something which is low, where people can actually see the next checkpoint and the surroundings and the road and everything. We'll just take some kind of low barrier here. Yeah, whatever. We'll just take this right now. So if people are coming down this road, wait, delete all checkpoints. We're gonna have to place the grid again. Wait, where was it? Here. Okay, so if you want people to go in a hairpin, which means they're supposed to come up here, do a 180-degree turn on the street. I see a lot of people that are starting a setup like this. They're gonna place one checkpoint there, one checkpoint there, and then a next one going out the hairpin again. This is absolutely confusing and not clear what's going to happen when you run up to it. I'll quickly show you guys what happens. We have the same problem that the first checkpoint will be facing to the second one, and it doesn't indicate a hairpin at all. It just indicates basically going straight. So I'll quickly show you guys what happens. So we're going to come up here. Oops, what was I supposed to do? I was supposed to turn. Shit, missed everything. So yeah, what you would do in this instance, if you want people to go in a hairpin, one checkpoint is enough. You only need one checkpoint. So what you do here, you can place it here. If you have a low prop, you can place it there because people will still see the checkpoint. If this would be a container here, then the container would be blocking the view of the checkpoint a bit. Then you would actually have to place it a bit to the right so people see it in time. If you use a low prop, you can place it exactly at the hairpin, and then people can come from the left, they can come from the right. It will indicate very clearly that you have to turn around. Let's run a quick test. Coming up to the hairpin. Okay, we have to turn around here, so take it very slow, take a tight turn, and we're back on the route. I could have also come from the other side doing this now, because like I said before, props if you're still watching this, because obviously a lot of people don't have the patience for this and they just want to get the race out there as quick as possible. But you can have the greatest workings, for me as a stunt racer, from my perspective, for example, you can have the greatest stunt ever, or also for GP races, you can have the best layout of the track with great surrounding props and everything. If your checkpoints are bad, nobody is going to replay it, and people will exit the race with a negative feeling, and that's also a very bad first impression, because people will remember it. Next time they play a race, they're like, oh yeah, this guy with the bad checkpoints, I have to totally use my mini-map to navigate through the race, which you shouldn't. You shouldn't have to look on your mini-map on races. It should be clear from the checkpoints what to do. So, yeah, with everything that I just told you, keep that in mind. Have as less checkpoints as possible, because like I said, every checkpoint is a distraction. Be aware that the direction of the checkpoint which we will be facing is only defined by the next checkpoint, and the other thing only has something to do with respawn direction. And yeah, basically everything what I just told you guys, just be aware of it. Look at some good races, how people are placing checkpoints. Notice that good experienced creators don't use a lot of checkpoints. They don't use a lot of checkpoints on straights. It's kept very minimal. So yeah, just keep all that in mind to basically improve all your races and make the racing experience better for everybody that plays it. If you have good checkpoints, it dramatically increases the replay value of your race, and people won't get frustrated. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something from this. I'll check you guys in the next tutorial. We'll see what we do there. I'm not quite decided yet, but we'll see. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm out.